Back a few months ago, I dropped my video essay on Silent Hill 4. I'm still very happy with the finished product, but it was always my intention to cover the original quadrilogy. I love Silent Hill 4, but it is my least favourite compared to the others. I got very caught up in the Silent Hill 4 praise during that video, that it might have seemed I liked that one the most. It is a good game, but those original 3 games... it is simply indescribable just how important these original 3 games were, not just to the evolution of horror games, but gaming more broadly during the late 90s and early 2000s. Not to mention, these games were so important in my formative years, and they're likely the reason I'm such a fan of the horror genre. My original plan was to cover Silent Hill 1 and 3. At the time of making my Silent Hill 4 video, those were the ones freshest in my mind. However, I recently got my hands on a PC copy of the Silent Hill 2 remake, and after playing it, I knew what had to be done. I have put off making this video for quite a while now, but I finally think the time is right. I've talked to you about a lot of horror games on this channel, but I haven't told you about this one. Have a seat. You're going to be here a while.
I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real.
Par for the course, let's give a bit of background history. Almost immediately after the completion of the original Silent Hill for the PlayStation 1, June 1999 would see the eponymous Team Silent get to work on their next major project. Funnily enough, a sequel to Silent Hill. Imagine that. The original Silent Hill sold approximately 2 million copies worldwide, a smash hit by all accounts. But instead of doing what a lot of people expected and make a direct sequel to the original, Team Silent instead went above and beyond to make Silent Hill 2 a whole new horror experience. One that wouldn't just crawl in the player's head like Silent Hill 1, but crawl under your skin and wear you like a suit with how nihilistic its atmosphere and themes were. Unlike the original Silent Hill, where the dev team had to feign a sense of familiarity with American towns and what they looked like, Silent Hill 2 was much more developed and believable with its infrastructure. The original Silent Hill, it still felt like a real town, and it was groundbreaking for the PlayStation 1, but Silent Hill 2 is just on another level. There's a real sense of grime and filth to the town. More of a visual indicator of this being a place that's lived in and long since abandoned. The development team were interstellar for this entry in the series. They really honed their craft. At the heart of the game's art direction was Masahiro Ito, responsible for the creature designs in Silent Hills 1, 2 and 3. Ito's work is simply untouchable, with him citing soured flesh as his main visual goal when designing the monsters in the game. It shows, as Silent Hill 2 has some of the most iconic monster design, not just for the series, but among other horror games both then and now. However, my award for biggest Team Silent hero has to go to Takayoshi Sato, the CG artist for the first and second game, who was also heavily involved with Silent Hill 2's story. Sato was treated like absolute shite during the development of the original Silent Hill, sleeping at the studio and working day and night to get the cutscenes rendered, purely so senior staff didn't take the credit for his work. Even all these years later, I could never say a bad thing about the CG in both the original Silent Hill and Silent Hill 2, but especially Silent Hill 2. This game came out over 20 years ago, 2001, and these cutscenes are still way ahead of their time. They have this uncanny look about them, but Silent Hill 2 is a game that really benefits from it. The development overall was a huge step up from the original. Team Silent were afforded far more creative freedom, and that led to some very thought-provoking and serious thematic changes. Gone was the black and white good and evil storytelling. Gone were the demons and occult imagery. What we got was arguably more haunting, and with a level of human depth so vast it lingers long after you put the controller down. A story inspired not by the works of Arthur Conan Doyle or ancient Jewish mysticism and demonology, but a story derived from the pages of works like Crime and Punishment and torturous films like Jacob's Ladder. A deep and piercing analysis of guilt, loss, abuse, selfishness, and redemption. This wasn't the story of Harry Mason, monster-killing, daughter-rescuing, cult-destroying extraordinaire. This was the story of James Sunderland, a depressed and tired-looking man who's come to Silent Hill in search of his wife. His dead wife. Also, before jumping in, I should mention that I played the Enhanced Edition for PC when recording gameplay. The original Silent Hill 2 is basically abandonware at this point, so if you plan on playing the game, this is way more cost effective than actually buying them. I'm very lucky because I have my original copies, but not everyone does. So seriously, if you want to play the game without breaking the bank, this is probably the best way to do it. Also, spoilers, obviously. Oh, one last thing. That shit up there, top right. Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to get rid of that for the first few hours because I recorded this with NVIDIA Shadowplay. NVIDIA is bad. Just use OBS. Yeah. That's about it. Bye. Bye everyone. Enjoy the video. Bye.
Mary, could you really be in this town?
James Sunderland has recently received a letter from his dead wife Mary, who had succumbed to a disease 3 years before the events of Silent Hill 2. James looks over the Silent Hill forest and Toluca Lake, recounting the memories he had with his late wife.
In my restless dreams, I see that town, Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said, Mary. My wife's name. It's ridiculous. Couldn't possibly be true. That's what I keep telling myself. A dead person can't write a letter. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. So then, why am I looking for her? Our special place. What could she mean? This whole town was our special place. Does she mean the park on the lake? We spent the whole day there. Just the two of us, staring at the water. Could Mary really be there? Is she really alive? Waiting for me?
It's a very somber and moody introduction, a far cry from the more abrasive and frightening introduction Harry had in the original Silent Hill. With his reminiscing over, James pushes towards the town, and already the atmosphere hits you like a brick wall. The dirt and grime all over, the trees disappearing beneath the fog, and that music. This is arguably Akira Yamaoka's best work. Silent Hill 2 is a beautiful sounding game. In a disgusting, shrieking, shaking you like an infant kind of way. This track especially, simply dubbed Forest Trail. It's a slow, creeping piece of dreadful ambience that unnerves the player. Hearing it always brings me back to playing Silent Hill 2 for the first time at a friend's house. No idea what we were getting ourselves into. Just walking down the trail and dreading what would jump out at us. Not long after, we arrive at the game's first save point and we get hit with one of the most iconic sounds in gaming. Right up there with Mario getting a star or Halo's shield recharge. Even the save screen itself gives off an unnerving feeling, James staring right through the screen with this ominous red background. After encountering the first save, we then meet our first side character, Angela.
Excuse me,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
Yeah. I'm looking for Silent Hill. Is this the right way?
Yeah. It's hard to see with this fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But
Yes?
I think you'd better stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it. It's kind of hard to explain, but...
Is it dangerous?
Maybe. And it's not just the fog, either.
Okay, I got it. I'll be careful.
The chemistry through the scene is electric, in the sense that there is no chemistry. James and Angela are so awkward and socially maladjusted that it gives the player more of what they've experienced so far, a deep sense of unease. That word in of itself just so perfectly captures the entire opening of this game. It just never stops making you uncomfortable. Best part is, if you go back and talk to Angela, you can make it about 10 times more awkward.
Aren't you looking for someone?
That's right.
As if James, in the span of a few seconds, forgot and then remembered. Oh yeah, dead wife, lol. Anyway, the rest of the walk is more or less what you've come to expect. Creepy ambience, lots of walking, scary noises. But what I always found especially interesting about this opening is just how long it is. An aspect that was completely intentional on the development team's part.
まず最初のその展望台から森までは一度その街に着いたら引き返せないような距離を出すことによってその孤独感とか不安感とか
And he's dead right. By the time you reach the outskirts of town, you really feel like you've come too far and you have to press on. Once arriving in town, you get to see the revamped streets of Silent Hill, or at least you could if the fog wasn't so thick. The fog in Silent Hill 2 is another detail that was vastly improved from the original. It smothers James throughout this opening segment, and you really struggle to see what's ahead of you. Well, except maybe some horrible, decrepit monster shuffling down the street. Let's follow it. Along the way, James will happen across multiple items he can pick up. Insert iconic sound effect in 3, 2, 1. I like that sound. The items themselves are functionally the same as they are in most Silent Hill games. You have your weapons, your healing items, equipment, and key items. I also love the models of each item. They have that distinct old school CG about them, making them look all plasticky and shiny. Also, iconic sound effect. Last time I bring it up, I swear. Those menu sounds are so nostalgic. I could listen to them all day. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, picked up this radio and... Ew.
Is it dead? What the hell is it? It's not human.
With that, James has encountered his first monster, what's known as a lying figure. What's especially unique about Silent Hill 2, and it's one thing that other Silent Hill games would adopt as time went on, is that the monsters aren't just manifestations of the town. Instead, the monsters of Silent Hill 2 are manifestations of our character's own subconscious. His fear, regret, and guilt given physical form. It's a level of maturity and fright that's wholly unique to Silent Hill 2, and it's something better explored the further we go on. Anyway, item collecting, monster bashing, running for my life to this apartment. This is the first major area of the game, the Woodside apartments. And do you notice something about it? It is deafeningly silent. Not a sound besides James' footsteps. It follows you through the entire lobby of the apartment block, only to then reach the second floor and... this sound, this horrible sound begins to play. Yamaoka is a master when it comes to unnerving sound design, and Silent Hill 2 is a game that relishes in that. The entire apartment section is the game's first real taste of what's to come, the kind of things you'll encounter. That sense of realism is especially prevalent throughout the apartment section. These rooms feel lived in with grime and clutter all over the place. This room here especially, filled with creepy mannequins. one of which has a flashlight. Fuck you. Fuck you. You may notice something else unnerving. The mannequin you got the flashlight from is wearing the same outfit as Mary. Another reason the apartment section proves to be especially effective is due to the pure claustrophobia at play. These hallways are tiny and really clamp down on James's ability to run past the monsters, instead forcing him to fight them head on. This is no different in the apartment rooms. In fact, it might be worse, as you're desperately searching for items whilst dreading what the game will throw at you. Exploring the apartment some more, you'll eventually find yourself face to face with the game's first big puzzle. This right here is my favourite aspect of the Silent Hill games, and it's something I regret not discussing more in my Silent Hill 4 video. I love getting involved in these puzzles and wasting my time trying to figure them out myself instead of looking up a solution online. I, of course, being the Chad I am, played the game on hard riddle and combat difficulty. As a result, the game vastly increases the difficulty of the puzzles. Now that being said, the clock is locked behind a glass case, so we'll have to find a key to unlock it. Why James can't just smash the glass and do the puzzle, I don't know. Maybe he's just very conscious of the mess he'll make. In the meantime, James can head up to the 3rd floor where he'll find a key just past a gate.
Ow! Hey, wait! Damn it.
Oh yeah, we'll see how smart you are when I put a bullet in your Oh yeah, I haven't found the handgun yet. And wouldn't you know it, the handgun is obtainable on this very same floor. In a very creepy room with bullet holes all over it. What was the occupant shooting at? Who knows. Back down the 1st floor, we... This is our first major encounter with what's known as Pyramid Head. And what I love about this whole scene is summed up in one word: subtlety. Pyramid Head is a subtle villain that only begins to have more of a presence the longer the game goes on. But for now, he just stands there, observing. Getting far away from him, James explores the apartment room right next to that creature and finds a rather disturbing and oddly familiar sight awaiting him.
Oh my god. Who could have...
The clock in this room is still on lockdown. As a result, James will need to explore further to find the key. He decides to put his hand in what I can only describe as a nightmarish glory hole and finds the key for the clock. Now, whilst I could go in depth about the actual clock puzzle itself, I think I'd rather space out my coverage of the puzzles in Silent Hill 2. This is a great opening puzzle, but there are far more in the game that I'd like to give more time as we go on. Pushing the clock aside, we can explore the new section of the Woodside apartments, at which point we enter a room with... shit. No metal bars to save us this time. And what I love about this cutscene is that Pyramid Head is just menacing. He's got such a presence every time James encounters him, and we can clearly see the danger he poses. So naturally, James stays in the wardrobe and doesn't leave until... Thank God even Pyramid Head feels bad for James, because that was, objectively speaking, the stupidest thing he could have done in that situation. James scours the rest of the apartments, searching for items, clues, and more, when he's greeted by a far more human-sounding noise in apartment 101.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Do what?
I didn't do anything. I swear. He was like this when I got here.
This is Eddie Dombrowski, our third major character next to whoever that rambunctious little scamp was. Compared to Angela, however, it's noticeably more unnerving in tone. Whilst I feel a sense of unease in our first encounter with Angela, take a look around you. It's bright, and the music, for all intents and purposes, is relatively upbeat, yet mysterious. This, on the other hand, is just dark, dirty, and uncomfortable. It isn't helped by Eddie's demeanour. He's clearly paranoid, under the impression that James is accusing him of having something to do with the dead body in the fridge, when James said nothing of the sort, just asking him who he was. Now, that being said, this place is crawling with monsters, so I can't blame him for being a little on edge. And, of course, we have to talk about the music. It's noticeably soft at the beginning, denoting that same sense of uneasy mystery from Angela's encounter at the graveyard, but something's just wrong the longer it goes on. Either way, there isn't much more to gain by talking to Eddie. Best just to leave him spew up and get a move on.
Whatever it is, I think you better get out of here soon.
Yeah, you're right. What about you?
I'll leave as soon as I'm done here. Eddie, be careful.
James, you be careful too.
Whilst I'm here rambling, this is another thing I really have to get off my chest, because I discussed the idea of the apartment being deafeningly silent, only broken up by James's footsteps. Well, this is actually where the radio really shines, specifically in this section of the game. I may have kind of glossed over it earlier, but after we defeated the first enemy, James picked up that radio he found. That radio is the only way to detect if enemies are nearby. Of course, you're not going to be able to see monsters all the time, so you need another way to find out if an area is safe or not. But it works doubly well because it raises the tension so high. Again, I have to give Yamaoka praise because the sound design is absolutely interstellar at creating a horrible sense of dread. That silence after you defeat an enemy is deafening. Using the fire escape key we found down the hall after that girl kicked it away, James opens the door to exit and... there isn't one. It's just a door leading to the opposite Blue Creek apartments. This is yet another thing I've always admired with Silent Hill 2's horror, and it's this idea of impossible infrastructure and geometry. This shouldn't be here. It makes no sense, and yet here it is. The Blue Creek apartments, in comparison to the Woodside, are disgusting. The place is destroyed with water drenching its halls. You can almost smell and breathe the mould and rot that's been festering in this wreck of an apartment block. Complete with monsters and insects scuttling around, it's a frightening area, and Akira Yamaoka smashes it out of the park yet again. Scouring the Blue Creek apartments for any refuge, we find a few notable rooms right before reaching the exit. One of which is what looks to be some sort of family home, complete with pictures, a teddy bear, and a very depressed looking Angela.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah, I'm James.
Angela.
Angela, okay. I don't know what you're planning, but there's always another way.
Really? But you're the same as me. It's easier just to run. Besides, is what we deserve.
No, I'm not like you.
Are you afraid? I'm sorry.
Angela is noticeably more passive-aggressive, poking fun at James and implying she and him are one and the same. Angela is such an enigma in this cutscene, and it remains one of my favourites. Her personality constantly shifts, and it reaches a crescendo when James tries to take the knife from her, naturally fearing what she plans to do with it.
What about that?
Will you hold it for me?
Sure, no problem.
If I kept it, I'm not sure what I might do. No! Oh, I'm sorry. I've been bad. Please don't.
It should say a lot when Eddie is suddenly seeming the more trustworthy of the two. But you still can't help but feel bad for Angela. Clearly, there's some underlying issues with the poor woman, but it remains to be seen exactly what these issues are. Leaving behind her knife, which you can inspect in James's inventory, he also receives a coin. One of two others he's been collecting in the apartments. These coins are utilised in what I feel is the game's first real brain teaser, the coin puzzle in apartment 105. To break it down in a digestible way, 3 coins depict 3 different characters in a story, one communicated by a placard etched into the drawer used for the coins. There are a series of clues given to the player to help them deduce what order the 3 coins go in. The puzzle ranges from easy to the real challenge that is the hard puzzle difficulty. I must have sat here for half an hour straight trying to figure out this puzzle. The woman is blindfolded, she can't see anyone, the man is facing the right, so he can't see this character, that character. It's all based around cryptic clues, at least if you play the medium or hard difficulty settings. Ultimately, you'll either figure the puzzle out yourself and throw your arms up in the air out of sheer joy, or you'll look up the solution online. If you ever find yourself stumped on these puzzles, which I wouldn't blame you for, check out the website Silent Hill Memories. It's an extremely comprehensive database comprised of guides, trivia, saves if you'd like to download them, and so much more. This website is goated. Anyway, When you ultimately figure out the pattern and the drawer opens, you're greeted with the Linehouse key, and there's a particularly good scare in this room. From my research, it is randomised, and I didn't get it on my playthrough, but here's a video ripped from YouTube. And that's it. You never hear that whisper again. It's just a monstrously unnerving scare that creeps the player out beyond belief. The Linehouse itself, however, I could sit here and overanalyze this place for days. One of the more off-putting elements in my eyes being that it doesn't look anything like the other apartments. The wallpaper looks like literal sheet metal grafted to the walls, and the material separating the rooms from the balcony, it's nothing but metal plates and wood hammered together. This balcony though, I could sit here and look at that fog all day. It's such an uneasy sense of peace, knowing there's nothing to attack you, and yet still feeling unsafe. Okay, I think that's enough analysis of the Linehouse. Time to grab the fire escape key and make a run for the exit. Hopefully before Pyramid Head finds us again. With no metal bars or wardrobes to protect us, this is James's first boss fight in the game, against none other than Pyramid Head. As you can probably tell, Pyramid Head is a speedy little bastard despite that knife he's dragging behind him, and if you get carved with it on the harder difficulties, it's a one-hit kill. As a result, you have two choices: blast away and hope you can do some damage, or just run around till he gets annoyed or tired. Contrary to what you might assume, I'd actually recommend attacking Pyramid Head. The game is very generous with pistol ammunition, and attacking him makes the fight go quicker. I do have to question James's intuition when fighting Pyramid Head, targeting his huge metal head as opposed to literally anything else. Whatever. By idiot. Having annoyed Pyramid Head to the point of leaving, James can finally exit the apartments and what an opening chapter. I distinctly remember escaping the apartments the first time I played Silent Hill 2 and having this wave of relief wash over me. It's a great introduction to the world of Silent Hill 2 that will only become more frightening and unforgiving the longer it goes on. Pressing on towards our next destination, we see a very familiar looking little scamp on the way there.
You! It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who stepped on my hand.
I don't know. Maybe I did.
What's a little girl like you doing here anyway?
Huh? Are you blind or something?
What's that letter?
None of your business. You didn't love Mary anyway.
Wait! How do you know Mary's name?
How does she know Mary's name? Also, maybe it's just me, but does anyone hear the creepy ambience and noises playing here in the background? You really need to listen close. I don't know, maybe it's just me. James strolls further down the street, arriving at Rosewater Park, a potential candidate for James and Mary's special place. Is she here? Waiting for us?
Mary? No, you're not.
Do I look like your girlfriend?
No, my late wife. I can't believe it. You could be her twin. Your face, your voice, just your hair and clothes are different.
My name is Maria. I don't look like a ghost, do I? See? Feel how warm I am?
You're really not Mary.
I told you.
This is Maria, now our fourth major character we've encountered in this strange town. And what I love so much about this introduction is just how dreamlike it is. The way Maria is presented, it's like something out of a fairy tale or mythology. This elusive and attractive woman appearing before our protagonist with a certain mystery about her. She looks almost identical to Mary, but she's clearly a bit more risque with her choice of clothing and how she behaves. Even in the clip I just showed, watch how she grabs James's hand and presses it against what I can only assume to be her breast, or at least her chest, asking James to feel how warm she is. It's a bold introduction, and that's why it's always stuck with me. In this moment, however, James has an epiphany, trying to think where else Mary might be waiting for him.
Is this your only special place?
Well, there's the hotel too, I guess. The one on the lake? I wonder if it's still there.
The Lakeview Hotel? Yeah, it's still there. So, the hotel was your special place, huh? I'll bet it was. Don't get so mad. I was just joking. Anyway, it's not that way. It's this way.
You're coming with me?
You were gonna just leave me?
No, but...
With all these monsters around?
No, I just...
I'm all alone here. Everyone else is gone. I look like Mary, don't I? You loved her, right? Or maybe you hated her.
Don't be ridiculous.
So it's okay?
Yeah, fine.
So, after Maria decides that she's coming with us, this is where we enter one of the game's major gameplay quirks, an escort mission, and in my opinion, Maria's one of the ones lower on the totem pole. This is purely a personal gripe, but I have found a handful of fans that do agree with me. Maria is essentially defenseless when following James around, and she can easily get herself injured. She accomplishes this by staying too close, standing around, or getting in the... Fucking move, Maria! I've definitely seen worse, but at times she is very frustrating to deal with, especially because how you treat her in the game determines what kind of an ending you can get, and that is an absolute nightmare to deal with. One thing I think is really cool about this section of exploring the town is something I'd like to pose to you, the viewer, again. Do you see it? Anything shifting or changing? The game actually has a time cycle, or at least the illusion of one. This is what I meant by the word Odyssey at the beginning of the video, where at the start of the game it was clearly the wee hours of the morning. James has now spent so much time looking for Mary that the sun is already beginning to set, and he's nowhere near finished. You can also find a steel pipe rammed in the engine of a car. The pipe is basically a direct upgrade to the wooden plank, just a little slower is all. The pipe, at least for me, was the workhorse through most of the game, doing the majority of my melee damage. Pressing on, the two come to a bowling alley that James has decided to scope out.
I'll wait here. I hate bowling.
I didn't come here to play, you know.
Hurry back, okay?
I'm going to let the rest of this scene play out, but let me just say, of all the tracks in the game thus far, this hits home the hardest.
So what'd you do? Robbery? Murder?
Nah, nothing like that.
Huh! You're just a gutless fatso.
What'd you have to say that for?
I thought you said the cops were out for you.
No, I just ran because I was scared. I don't know what the cops are doing.
But if you did something bad, why don't you just say you were sorry? Well, I guess I run away a lot too.
It's no good. They wouldn't listen. Nobody will ever forgive me.
Okay. You have to see me for me to illustrate just how much this piece of music means to me. If you're a long-term fan of my work, this might sound familiar to you. This is Alone in the Town by Akira Yamaoka. Objectively, the best piece of music in the game. This is obviously a track heavily inspired by Yamaoka's trip-hop influences, so it's very in line with artists like DJ Shadow, Portishead, Massive Attack, groups, bands like that. It's a piece of music I've held a deep reverence for most of my life, and growing up, I've had some serious low points in my life. But this single track has always been a comfort to me. Anyway, getting back to it. A different t-shirt? What? It's almost like he filmed this on a different day.
Eddie?
Oh, you're...
James. We met in the apartment building?
Yeah, I remember. But...
Are you alone here, Eddie?
No.
Bye-bye.
Wait! Come back! Eddie, let's go after her.
Huh? Laura? But why?
Laura. Is that her name?
That's what she said.
This town is full of monsters. How can you sit there and eat pizza?
Eddie has evidently gotten his appetite back, and to be honest, I don't really blame him for not wanting to follow a strange man he just met and follow a girl he barely knows. It does help to keep in mind what Eddie says here though.
Huh, you're just a gutless fatso.
What'd you have to say that for?
How can you sit there and eat pizza?
She said she was fine by herself. She said a fatso like me would just slow her down.
Forget you.
Laura clearly upset him by poking fun at his weight, drowning his emotions in more pizza and trying to forget what she said. James decides to leave him there, and it seems Maria didn't have much luck getting a hold of Laura when we meet her outside.
Did a little girl run out of here?
Yeah, she was too fast for me. Aren't you gonna go after her?
Chasing her down an alley, she managed to squeeze through a gap in the buildings to escape, and the only way to progress is right through there.
It's no good. It's locked.
The Heaven's Night Strip Club, oh, sorry, my bad, Gentleman's Club, is another key location in James's story. It's here we get a look at why perhaps Maria is so promiscuous, but it's also where we get a very telling and very missable piece of dialogue from James. This piece of dialogue only appears if you inspect the empty beer bottles. Liquor bottles. I don't need that right now. It's not that I don't drink. In fact, I drink a fair bit. To get away from the pain, the loneliness. But the drinking never changes anything. Anyway, I don't need it now. There's something I have to do. James clearly took the loss of his wife a lot harder than we first expected, and it's something I'm sure many can relate to. Alcohol is a great time for many, but under grievous circumstances, it can make things so much darker and inescapable. Heaven's Night itself is a great locale. The seductive pink lighting, the suggestive neon signs, and the seedy architecture all around. It's a very symbolic and sensual location that leaves its mark on James and the player. Pressing on, we finally make our way to Brookhaven Hospital, and it's here we catch a glimpse of Laura slipping quietly away.
Over there!
Brookhaven is where things really start to fall apart for James, and it's hands down one of the more frightening areas in the game. Unlike Alchemilla Hospital from the original Silent Hill, this isn't just any hospital. Brookhaven is a mental institution, and throughout every floor we see just how dire things were here. Patients suffering from violent schizophrenia, delirium, hallucinations, and so much more. Clinical settings such as hospitals have always unnerved me, and Brookhaven is an especially good example of that. Primarily because this hospital operates on a very 1950s approach of curing its patients. There's an especially chilling note at the beginning of the hospital section that illustrates this point quite well. The potential for illness exists in all people, and under the right circumstances, any man or woman would be driven, like him, to the other side. The other side perhaps may not be the best way to phrase it. After all, there is no wall between here and there. It lies on the borders where reality and unreality intersect. It is a place both close and distant. Some say it isn't even an illness. I cannot agree with them. I'm a doctor, not a philosopher or even a psychiatrist. But sometimes I have to ask myself this question. It's true that to us, his imaginings are nothing but the inventions of a busy mind. But to him, there simply is no other reality. Furthermore, he's happy there. So why, I ask myself, why in the name of healing must we drag him painfully into the world of our own reality? You get the sense that the patients here weren't treated so much as contained, and that cold, clinical indifference bleeds into the hospital's very architecture. The stuffy dark hallways, the checkered floors, the padded cells, and the absolute filth of the hospital rooms themselves. Of course, we also have to consider the latest enemy to grace James's presence, the bubblehead nurse. They have these risque little 1950s, 60s nurses' outfits that expose their figure quite a bit, but their heads are completely malformed, like a big bubble of flesh. These, being a manifestation of James's psyche, are likely calling back to his time in the hospital with Mary, as she was slowly succumbing to her disease. All the strolling around in their little outfits while Mary lay wasting away in a hospital bed. It's clear James wanted to be intimate with his wife, but given her condition, that was made impossible. He might have been attracted to these other women, but he could never put a face to their bodies. Why? Well, because he loved Mary. Or at least we assume that's why. It's all symbolic. It's very much up to the player's interpretation. The nurses are easily one of my favourite enemies in Silent Hill 2. Not just because they aesthetically fit with the hospital very well, but they are just a wretched creature to deal with. Not to mention they pack a serious punch. One swing of that pipe could leave James's health in the red. And Jesus Christ, that sound design. The fleshy tapping of their feet as they walk is bad enough, but slamming their heads in and jabbing them with that meaty crunch. It's very unpleasant. And, of course, how could I forget Yamaoka's absolutely unhinged soundtrack? It creates a very palpable sense of dread throughout the entire hospital section, and it never lets up wherever you go. Also, we found a shotgun. Yay! We also picked up a bent needle. Seems like a pretty arbitrary thing to collect, but I'm sure James knows what he's doing. Whilst exploring the hospital rooms, it seems Maria is a little worse for wear.
James. Wait a minute. I'm kinda tired. It's just a hangover.
You should rest.
So comfy.
I'm gonna go look for her. For Laura. I'll be back as soon as I can.
James, I want to ask you something. What if you can't find Mary? What will you do?
I haven't thought about that.
Again, we get that real playful seductiveness from Maria, as James is clearly uncomfortable with her flirting. Thankfully, with the weight of looking after Maria off her shoulders, we can finally explore the hospital unhindered. At the end of the hall, we have probably one of the more famous Silent Hill 2 set pieces. The lockbox on the hospital bed. Who put it here? Why is it under lock and key? I have no idea. But what I do know is we already have some of the items and codes to unlock it. Now all's needed is one more code and we can open the final lock. Next to Maria was the key to the hospital roof, and that silence and that darkness. I've always found the roof of the hospital such a chilling area in the game, and it lasts all of a few seconds. What's even more unnerving, however, is the diary on the roof. May 9th. Rain. Stared out the window all day. Peaceful here. Nothing to do. Still not allowed to go outside. May 10th. Still raining. Talk with the doctor a little. Would they have saved me if I didn't have a family to feed? I know I'm pathetic, weak. Not everyone can be strong. May 11th. Rain again. The meds made me feel sick today. If I'm only better when I'm drugged, then who am I anyway? May 12th. Rain as usual. I don't want to cause any more trouble for anyone, but I'm a bother either way. Can it really be such a sin to run instead of fight? Some people might say so, but they don't have to live in my shoes. It may be selfish, but it's what I want. It's too hard like this. It's just too hard. May 13th. It's clear outside. The doctors have told me I've been released. That I've got to go home. I'm not sure what came of this patient, but judging by the abrupt ending and the fact it was found on the roof, I don't think he ever made it home. Doesn't look like there's much else to be gained by exploring the roof. Best to go back. Oh shit! Having been knocked into the padded cells, we get our final code for the lockbox. But that encounter with Pyramid Head is bothering me. How did he get up there? Where could he have even hidden? And should I be worried about encountering him again? Either way, there's no sense in dwelling on it. Time to open the lockbox and we get... a few strands of hair. There was a drain in one of the rooms with an item we couldn't get, but surely you can't combine the bent needle and the hairs to fish it out. With the key in tow, James can finally explore the last major section of the hospital, and it's here we get one of my favourite cutscenes in the game.
Laura?
Huh? You know my name?
Eddie told me.
That big fat blabbermouth.
How do you know about Mary?
What's the big deal?
Why can't you just tell me?
You gonna yell at me if I don't?
No, I won't.
I was friends with Mary. We met at the hospital. It was last year.
You liar! Laura,
Fine, don't believe me.
But last year, Mary was already... I'm sorry, Laura. Anyway, let's go. We can talk about this later. This is no place for a kid. There are all sorts of strange things around here. I can't believe you haven't even gotten a scratch on you.
Why should I?
It's our first real interaction with Laura, and she clearly harbours some sort of grudge towards James. We don't know why, but his attitude certainly isn't helping. What's especially unusual and unnerving is that Laura has no idea what James is talking about when warning her of the dangers of the hospital. It's almost as if she didn't see them. But they're pretty hard to miss, so what's her story? For the moment, it's not really important. Better to get her and Maria so we can flee from this wretched hospital.
Wait, there's something I gotta get.
Later, okay?
But it's really important.
What is it?
A letter from Mary.
Huh?
I wanna go get it, is that okay?
Yes!
Come on, hurry up.
Is it in there?
Yeah, in the back.
What are you doing, Laura?
It's further back, in the desk.
Laura! What are you doing?
Ha ha, I tricked you.
Open the door, Laura.
Why should I? I'm a liar, right? Want me to open it? Huh? Do ya? What's the magic word?
Laura?
Okay, I guess I won't open it. I think I'll just leave you like this.
You snotty little brat! Open up!
Why, you...
Laura?
You hurt me!
Having locked James in the examination room, he comes face to face with the second major boss fight of the game, Flesh Lips. I'll be honest in saying I've never found them all that challenging. Much like Pyramid Head, you simply take pot shots when possible and run to the other end of the room. The enclosed space does make for a fairly high-octane and claustrophobic environment, but the Flesh Lips are just too slow when attacking. The idea is that they grab James with their feet and strangle him, but you're given so much time to blast away and then run to the opposite end of the room that it rarely happens. I didn't even get to record them strangling me because of how easy it was to avoid them. However, they are very effective from a design perspective. They're essentially a mass of flesh lumped into a metal frame with feet and big swollen lips. It seems a display of how James viewed Mary, or at least her suffering, an amorphous blob writhing around in its bed. I also hate how they die, the way their feet curl. It's a very disturbing piece of imagery, and in a way, while the boss itself isn't challenging, this thing eats ammunition like a sponge. I wasted all my shotgun rounds and had to finish off the third one with my pistol. So while it isn't challenging in the traditional sense, it is very resource heavy. Fun fact, that scene we just saw is actually lifted from Jacob's Ladder, in which the protagonist is wheeled through a hospital with disturbing imagery. God, that is such a good film. I should review that sometime. But anyway, getting back to it. This is Silent Hill 2's equivalent of the Otherworld from Silent Hill 1. Unlike the original Silent Hill Otherworld, it's far more subdued, Less hellish, rusty and bloodstained. Instead, it's more purgatory. Grime, mould and tarps covering things. Less like a building that's on fire, and more like one that's suffered one and been long abandoned. Our primary goal in the Otherworld, as with most Silent Hill games, is to escape it as soon as possible. To do this, we have to find a way to access this door, and oh my god, I love this door so much. It's such a surreal, trippy piece of imagery, especially with the hands extending out of the wall. What adds to this even more is the text you find in one of the hospital rooms. She is an angel no one knows. Only I can see the lady of the door. They cannot walk along her bridge of thread. They fall from the weight of their crimes. Like bloated and ugly corpses, their sins she devours them. Sin and sinner alike she saves me. She is an angel. Are these simply the inventions of a busy mind? Or something more? Who's deserving of the lady's mercy? I hope we're one of them. Returning to Maria's room, she's missing, and in her stead we find a pile of empty pill bottles. It should also go without saying, but the breathing in this room is really unpleasant. It's almost like Maria is still in the room with us, just barely out of reach. I can't help but call back to that doctor's note yet again. The Otherworld isn't separate from our own reality. They coexist. So perhaps Maria is a bit closer than expected. Exploring the hospital basement, we find a ladder leading to a secret room.
James!
Mary? Oh, Maria. It's you. I thought you were... Sorry. Anyway, I'm glad you're alive.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? You don't sound very happy to see me. I was almost killed back there. Why didn't you try to save me? All you care about is that dead wife of yours. I've never been so scared in my whole life. You couldn't care less about me, could you?
No, I just...
Then stay with me. Don't ever leave me alone. You're supposed to take care of me. So, what about Laura? Did you find her?
Yeah, but... she ran away.
We've got to find her.
You really seem to care about her. Do you know her?
I've never met her before. I just feel sorry for her. She's all alone. And for some reason, I feel like it's up to me to protect her.
Anyway,
Shut
up, Maria! We go down the ladder and find ourselves a copper ring. This is almost certainly something we can place on the lady of the door. And now that we have Maria back, she can help us open a fridge we couldn't open earlier. Okay, elevator, second floor, yeah.
Of Trick or Treat! Here you either answer the question correctly and win a great prize, or fail to answer correctly and receive the punishment. It all depends on you. And our lucky, or should I say unlucky challenger today is James. James Sunderland! Are you ready to play Trick or Treat? Okay. Here's your first question. Merry-go-round, haunted house, roller coaster, Ferris wheel, and teacup. Silent Hill is home to a thrilling amusement park that both children and adults love. The question is, what is the name of this amusement
Blah blah blah. Long story short, I have no idea what this whole game show thing is about, but I love it. It's such an unexpected and twistedly humorous section of Silent Hill 2, not to mention very useful. If you've been paying attention throughout the game, these questions are easily answered. Heading to the third floor storeroom and inputting the correct code, James is awarded with an absolute pile of healing items and ammunition. Getting back to the fridge, Maria gives James a hand opening it, and in return he gets the lead ring, which of course is placed on the hands of the lady to unlock the door. When descending the stairs, we find this note to help us on our way once we exit the hospital. I took the director's key, the one to the museum. I hid it behind the praying woman when I went out for the day trip. I picked it up, but I did not steal it. I'm not a criminal. I've always loved the tone of this note. It's clear that it was written by one of the patients of Brookhaven, but you'd be mistaken for thinking it was a child given the poor spelling. I also love how he denies culpability, despite the fact that he swiped the director's key and misplaced it, claiming he's not a criminal. It might seem arbitrary now, but this far into the game, I'm sure you know that nothing ever is. Oh, here we are, the final stairwell leading to the exit. And I have to touch on this idea of impossible geometry yet again. All the doors leading out of the stairwell are locked, all except one at the bottom of these stairs. And just look at it. Does that look even remotely inviting to you? It shouldn't even be here, but much like the fire escape in the apartments, it's just another piece of creepy architecture that leaves you with this paralysing sense of dread. Reaching the bottom, it's time to make a run for the exit, and... what was... Maria, run! With the death of Maria, James has no choice but to move on, with yet another death weighing on his conscience. While searching the reception area of Brookhaven, we find something to point us in the right direction. A marked map and what looks to be a key. He who is not bold enough to be stared at from across the abyss is not bold enough to stare into it himself. The truth can only be learned by marching forward. Follow the map. There's a letter and a wrench. And it's here we enter, hands down, my favourite section of Silent Hill 2. The journey to the Historical Society and to our next major destination. Before I get a move on though, just soak in the ambience. This whole section of the game is just horror perfection in my eyes. This particular track has played in the Silent Hill streets before, but it only really gets to me when the streets are dark. Yamaoka's soundtrack has this real industrial emptiness about it, and with the streets of Silent Hill now pitch black, it makes for some real dark and foreboding exploration. We have a few key stops to find the items needed to progress, but there are a few personal stops I'd like to make before we move on. One of which is right here in Neely's bar. We have the ever so classic "there was a hole here, it's gone now" message on the window, but when looking at the wall, if you really want to see Mary, you should just die. But you might be heading to a very different place than Mary, James. What is that supposed to mean? What did James do? Is this because of Maria? We don't know. What we do know is that James clearly has something to feel guilty about, and Silent Hill is going to continue reminding him of this. Another monstrously scary moment from the exploration of the town at night is the body with the hastily scrawled messages all around it. This can be found during the day, but my first encounter with it was at night, and it's always stayed with me. I'm going to write everything that I've learned so far. Maybe that will help you out somehow. If you're reading this, it probably means I'm already dead. I saw those demons. They were there, I'm certain, but my friend says he didn't see anything. If that's true, does that mean what I saw was an illusion? But whether that demon that ate human beings was real, or whether it was just some kind of hallucination that my mind dreamed up, one thing I know for sure is that I'm beyond all hope. It seems that they're attracted to the light. That's why people who need light to see are their natural prey. They also react strongly to sound. If you want to go on living, you'd be better off just sitting in the dark and staying quiet. But even that probably won't save you. If you're going to try to fight them, the most important thing is to relax. It's dangerous to fire a gun while you're all crazy with fear. Take good aim and then squeeze the trigger. And don't forget to finish them off. I think most of those creatures can be killed, even if they are tougher than people. Run away. Run away, run away, run away, run away, run away. What could that man have possibly seen to make his composure shatter the way it did? Moving further on, we find a wrench and a letter pointing us towards Rosewater Park. Or perhaps you're a fool. The truth usually betrays people. A part of that abyss is the old society. The key to the society is in the park. At the foot of the praying woman. Inside of the ground. Inside of a box. To open it, I need a wrench. My patient buried it there. I knew, but did nothing. It made me uneasy to have such a thing near. I wasn't looking for the truth. I was looking for tranquility. I also saw that thing. I fled, but the museum was sealed as well. Now no one dares to approach that place. If you still do not wish to stop, James. I pray the Lord have mercy on your eternal soul. Silent Hill almost seems feral at this point. No more hiding in the shadows or playing coy with James. It is now telling him to his face where to go, what to do, and passive-aggressively tormenting and criticising him. It makes the town feel so much more alive, as if it's constantly observing James and his progress. Once arriving at Rosewater Park, we find the statue of the praying woman. Digging up a steel box, the wrench can be used to open it, at which point we find a key to the Silent Hill Historical Society. Looks like this is the way. The silence in the Historical Society is palpable, lined with all kinds of photographs and memorabilia of the town's past. Misty day, remains of the judgment. It's him. Lining the walls of the Historical Society, James can examine many photographs. And on the far side of the room, a hole in the middle of the wall, with foghorns beckoning him. This is Toluca Prison. Originally built during the American Civil War for POWs, it serves as our next major area and my absolute favourite. There are no words to describe just how aggressively frightening Toluca Prison is. It is nothing short of a nightmare. The prison itself is filthy, coated in a thick layer of mould and grime. You can just smell how putrid and earthy it is in here. The funny thing is, when exploring, we can still see photographs hanging on the wall. It's so out of place. Why are these here? Let's not forget that the prison and Historical Society, through some impossibly linked geometry, are almost the same building. It's like elements of the Historical Society are bleeding into the prison. Not long into this initial area and we have our next link to the society. That picture of the hole we saw is what we have to jump into to progress. This is another thing you'll notice with this section in particular. A lot of falling, a lot of descending. Things started to fall apart by the time we reached the hospital, but the prison is where we really get a look at James's fractured psyche, as more of his own self-loathing and depression is projected. After all, he's had to bear the burden of caring for his wife and watching her slowly whittle away to nothing, only to now be told she might still be out there. His odyssey is slowly but surely reaching its conclusion, and the further he plunges into this prison, the clearer things become. We're trapped. There's no way out. Playing Silent Hill 2 originally as a kid, that first hole and being trapped in the well genuinely gave me a jump. I am very claustrophobic, so this scare has always had an effect on me. Of course, it is a fake out. All you need to do is inspect the wall, find the soft spot, and bash it to access the rest of the prison. It's also such a minor detail, but I love the way James falls into this area. The geometry is just all over the place within the prison, and there's all these crazy holes, changes in elevation, and strange rooms. Speaking of which, this is the next hole we have to jump into. The gate is locked, but that's not some grate built into the floor. Flip the image. It's one of the prison hallways upside down. To access the gate, we need to find the key, and I'm guessing this one on the floor will do the trick. That's strange. Flashlight just died. And now the door's locked. First try. That wasn't scripted, by the way. That was actually my first guess. When examining the key, it's impossible to read what the spiral says, but with a little research, it says, "'Tis doubt which leadeth thee to purgatory." Okay, here we go again.
Killing a person ain't no big deal. Just put the gun to their head. Pow.
You killed him?
But it wasn't my fault. He made me do it.
Calm down, Eddie. Tell me what happened.
That guy, he had it coming. I didn't do anything. He just came after me. Besides, he was making fun of me with his eyes, like that other one.
Just for that, you killed him?
What do you mean, just for that?
Eddie, you can't just kill someone because of the way they looked at you.
Oh yeah? Why not? Till now I always let people walk all over me. Just like that stupid dog. He had it coming too.
Eddie.
I was just joking, James. He was dead when I got here, honest. Anyway, I gotta run.
You're going out there alone?
Yeah.
Eddie!
Something is very wrong. Much like Angela, we've gone from trusting Eddie to worrying about him. Unlike Angela, however, I felt bad given how emotionally unstable she was. Here, I feel nothing but fear. Fear of what Eddie has done and what he might do the next time we see him. This prisoner supposedly came after Eddie, but look at him. He's sitting down and it looks like it was a clean, straight through the back of the head kind of shot. And on top of that, Eddie constantly contradicts himself. Not to mention, he admits to killing others. The other one and that stupid dog. When James begins to pick apart his story and become increasingly concerned, he claims he was just kidding. And I love that deranged little shift of emotions he gives. It's clear by now there's very few people James can trust or rely upon, and Eddie is at the very bottom of that list. We also find a stone tablet in the back of the room, crucial for accessing an item we'll need later. It's at this point in the story that we truly get to experience the hellscape that is Toluca Prison. It's hard to describe, but Toluca Prison just has an evil aura. The game is just so aggressive with its enemy placement and scares. Lying figures line its long, narrow corridors, and some sections just have an evil presence. For example, you can explore sections of the prison that are lined with cells, obviously. In doing so, you'll come face to face with lying figures attacking you through the bars and just general unpleasant noises all around, almost like sensory overload. And then when you kill them, all the noise stops, and you're just left with this stomping and what seems to be the word ritual, repeated again and again. Within one of the cells, you can see cultish markings on the wall, likely related to the Order, the cult of Silent Hill, and all sorts of ancient, esoteric texts scattered all over the ground. However, when leaving the cell and walking past the others, James's head suddenly darts to the left. There's something in the cell. The scariest part, though, is that only James can see it. Throughout the entire game, we've been bearing witness to all the putrid and deformed creatures James' psyche has been manifesting. Why is this the only monster we can't see? It can also be shot and killed. And yet for some reason, even knowing that thing is dead, I felt more unsafe than ever. There are some really cool theories surrounding this monster, and I'd recommend checking them out. Leaving the cells to explore the rest of the area, one thing has to be discussed, and it's that music yet again. Toluca Prison has some of the most oppressive music and nasty sound design I've ever heard in a game. Playing through the prison late at night with a good pair of headphones is the purest essence of discomfort. I honestly feel like Yamaoka's score and sound design is what really carries most sections of the prison. Now, that being said, some of the scares crafted by the dev team are just nasty. Take this one here, in which you enter a cell to get one of the tablets for later use, and the door won't open. I'm stuck in the cell. Jesus Christ. Or here, when you enter a cell in the same area, you're greeted with 3 paintings. 436 people at a recital, Burning Man, and Woman in Flight. The symbolism behind these paintings have been debated for some time. I'm not even sure I have an answer myself. It is pretty creepy though. It's little scares and pieces of environmental storytelling like these that make Toluca Prison above and beyond the most frightening area in the game. It's such an evil place. Exploring the prison further, we enter the armory and we find ourselves a rifle. You slag. With the rifle in tow, we can now explore what I feel is the area best saved for last. I've tried to cover most of everything in the prison that gave me a good jump playing Silent Hill 2, but not to the extent it becomes nauseating. Just a couple of really good scares and moments that made the prison my favourite area. That being said, I hope you're ready for me to overanalyse the shit out of this next section. The prison courtyard. It's hard for me to illustrate just how much this stuck with 11-12-year-old me when I played this game for the first time, but I'll do my best. First and foremost, it's dark. So dark that even the flashlight can barely illuminate what's around you. You begin to walk around and what sounds like horses begin to ride around. Horses traditionally would be present at executions, either as part of the procession or, if you want to get really medieval, for use in prisoners being hung, drawn and quartered. What's most frightening though is that the horses aren't even there. It's likely just an auditory hallucination of James's already fractured mind. Why would he be hearing horses here though? And why in the context of an execution? Because these are the prison's gallows. And underneath the nooses, we have 3 hollow square indentations. A perfect fit for 3 stone tablets. Let's also take note of the illustration just above the squares. Who's performing the execution? Before placing the tablets, we have some text to read through. I give you blood to atone for the 3 sins. These almost certainly apply to the 3 etchings on the tablets themselves. 3 of the 7 deadly sins. The gluttonous pig speaks for itself. The seductress seems to be a woman presenting herself, an indication that this is lust. The last one, however, dubbed the oppressor, is a bit harder to tell. Truth be told, there is a case for any number of the remaining sins, but I feel wrath is especially relevant here. The oppressor would be the first giveaway for me, but look at what the larger, more dominating figure is doing. He seems to be attacking the smaller figure by stomping her and, seemingly, reaching for her neck. Either way, upon inserting each tablet, we get the next item needed to exit the prison and execute the prisoner, whoever he is. Also, major whatever incoming, but I just love that detail so much. Why does James have the ability to fall there? It appears nowhere else in the game. It also has no bearing on anything going forward. I just really wanted to talk about it. Anyway, we can see an item has been left on the door for us. It's a horseshoe. In tandem with the wax doll found in one of the cells and a lighter found in the visitation booth, we have one of Silent Hill 2's strangest and most unique puzzles. The trapdoor to exit the prison is missing its handle. Naturally, anyone who's played the original Silent Hill or a Resident Evil game would assume the handle is around here somewhere. What you're supposed to do is combine all 3 items you've found in the prison. Use the lighter to melt the wax doll, fill the space where the handle would be, and let it harden around the horseshoe, creating a makeshift handle. Of course. I also love that when James is made to jump down another hole, he doesn't even hesitate this time, diving straight into the unknown. This time, James has found himself in the morgue, and it's becoming clearer with each new section of the prison that James is beginning to lose his grip on reality more and more. You can see this firsthand when examining the bodies. Did that just move, or was it my imagination? There's something in the hole. It looks like it's all dismembered. No, I can't look anymore. Down we go again. Oh my god, this music. I hate this area so much. I already want to get out of here. Please, just open the door. Jesus Christ, how far does this prison go? Thank God, an elevator. And some items inside it. Glad to see the game is finally taking it easy. Okay, down we go. By the way, this lift takes a solid minute to actually descend, and it really feels like we've reached the rock bottom of James's subconscious. He's made it past the prison and all the terrors within, but now Silent Hill is really going to put James to the test. The Labyrinth is the next major area of Silent Hill 2, and while some have criticised that this section drags a small bit and seems more like padding, it is an integral part in James's story. The atmosphere is already unnerving as is, but that music... Yamaoka really outdid himself with the music within the Labyrinth. It really feels like James is trapped in some sort of purgatory. The corridors are all samey, there's impossible geometry laid throughout, and just look at the map. James quite literally has to map this area out himself with paper and a pencil. In that respect, it's very similar to the original Silent Hill's Nowhere section, the only difference being James has actually mapped out his surroundings, whereas Harry relied on his, and in turn, the player's intuition to navigate. Where do I even start with this area? I suppose first and foremost, it operates on two levels. The corridors above and the underground tunnels. All of which have their own hazards for James to confront, such as lying figures in the hallways, lying figures in the tunnels. Yeah, that's about it actually. Except for oh shit, Pyramid Head! Run! James, go, 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 go! Let's hide in here for a minute. No way. That's right. Pyramid Head's great knife is actually a usable weapon and can be picked up in the Labyrinth. Now don't get too excited. The thing is near useless because of how much it weighs James down and how clumsily he tries to swing it. That said, it is a nice little novelty weapon, and one that will have its day later on. For now, we have another pretty cool puzzle. Not an especially challenging one, mind you, but I think it's a really atmospheric and unique one. You have to turn this stone head to shift this big metal room around. There's a door hidden away, and once you have the puzzle correct, the door is accessible. Depending on the puzzle difficulty, the answer can be randomised. For my playthrough, it was the blue-eyed section facing the right way up. Going down the stairs, we find ourselves outside a cell with... Maria?
You're alive! Maria, I thought that thing killed you. Are you hurt bad?
Not at all, silly.
Maria? That thing, it stabbed you. There was blood everywhere.
Stabbed me? What do you mean?
It chased us to the elevator, and then...
James, what are you talking about?
Just before! Don't you remember?
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
You said you took everything, but you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
So, you're Maria?
I am. If you want me to be.
All I want from you is an answer.
It doesn't matter who I am. I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real. Don't you want to touch me?
I don't know.
Come and get me. I can't do anything through these bars.
Okay. Stay right there. I'll be there soon.
Okay. I guess we have our goal now. Maria's alive and stuck in that cell, so let's go find her. Another minor moment incoming, but I love the implications of it. You hear this crackling electrical type noise as James is coming back through the room. Who left these here? Who's helping James progress? Making use of the wire cutters on a doorway previously inaccessible, James can now proceed further into the labyrinth. After a whole pile of running, shooting, climbing, collecting, hello Pyramid Head, we finally arrive at one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever experienced in my life. I'm going to take it handy on the jokes in this section, and I'm not going to say anything. We'll be coming back to this newspaper article here. But for the moment, I'm going to let this encounter play out, skipping past sections where the need arises.
Daddy, please don't!
Are you okay? Angela, relax.
Don't order me around!
I'm not trying to order you.
So what do you want then? Oh, I see. You're trying to be nice to me, right? I know what you're up to. It's always the same. You're only after one thing.
No, that's not true at all.
You don't have to lie. Go ahead and say it. Or you could just force me. Beat me up like he always did. You only care about yourself anyway. You disgusting pig.
Angela.
Don't touch me! You make me sick. You said your wife Mary was dead, right?
Yes. She was ill.
Liar! I know about you. You didn't want her around anymore. You probably found someone else.
That's ridiculous. I never...
To us, this horrible creature appears to be just a walking mass of flesh with legs attached to a door. But for Angela, this creature is all too familiar. Let's look at that newspaper article. Now, although it's covered in blood and grime, I'm going to remove it for easier reading. The body of a man later identified as Thomas Orozco, lumberjack, was discovered in the middle of the room lying face up. The probable cause of death was multiple stab wounds to the front of the neck and the left side of the torso by a sharp-edged weapon. The estimated time of death was somewhere between 11 p.m. and 12:30 midnight. Due to signs of struggle in the room and the lack of a murder weapon, police are considering this a homicide and have opened a murder investigation. Furthermore, given the fact that the cash in the room was untouched and Mr. Orozco had a history of drunkenness and violence, the police suspect that the motive was not robbery, but some sort of crime of passion. It was a crime of passion. It was Angela that killed her father with the knife we've had in our inventory since the apartment. Thomas Orozco was a raging alcoholic, and when he felt the need to take his anger and frustration out on someone, his daughter was the usual candidate. It isn't made especially clear through the game, but Angela is actually 19 years old, making this all the more hard to stomach. And when he wasn't beating her, he was likely raping her. It all makes sense. Her awkward demeanour, her hesitation to be touched or approached, her suicidal tendencies, and her lashing out at that creature, affectionately referred to as the abstract daddy. I'm also going to draw attention to a YouTube comment here, one that I discovered when compiling the music for this video. This comment really did encapsulate the tragedy of the abstract daddy boss fight so well. The sad thing about it is, despite how valiant James is in trying to save Angela, you can't fight a memory with weapons. That really stuck with me when trying to craft my script around this section of Silent Hill 2 in particular. James is quite literally trying to battle a memory. one that won't leave Angela anytime soon. And despite all this dreadful imagery and exposition, the most disturbing part might lie in what Angela says to James. That he didn't want Mary around anymore. That he probably found someone else. It's undeniable that after 3 years of caring for a sick and dying wife, those thoughts may have crossed his mind. But up to now, we've been led to believe that he loved this woman. After all, he's gone as far as to search for her in this decrepit, haunted town. How can that be anything but undying love for the woman he thought he lost? And yet, I can't stop thinking about it. Maybe he did come to Silent Hill searching for someone new, and just keeps lying to himself. Maybe he's found her. Sitting here thinking about it isn't going to get James anywhere though. We have to push on and keep believing that Mary is out there somewhere. On a lighter note, I can say that we have arrived at hands down my favourite puzzle in Silent Hill 2, and one that ranks among some of my favourite puzzles in gaming full stop. 6 men have been hung for 6 different crimes. One of them is innocent. I'm sure you can piece this together. The area with the nooses has the actual clues on a sign. The other room contains the hanged men, each with their given crime scrawled on pieces of paper that cover their face. I also love how out of place this puzzle actually is. This seems more like something James should have seen in the prison, yet here it is, miles below ground in this mysterious labyrinth with no explanation. Getting back to the puzzle, the clues, of course, range from easy to hard given your chosen puzzle difficulty. Whilst I like how cryptic and mysterious the hard puzzle clues are, I love that on normal difficulty, the clues are phrased almost like an old, grim nursery rhyme or poem. Dead men swinging in a tree, how many dead men do you see? Tongue turned blue and face gone grey, watch them as they twist and sway. The first one killed the butcher man, then cooked him in the frying pan, served him to his hungry guests and gave them seconds on request. It's such a cool way of communicating the clues to the player. I also have to draw attention to the atmosphere and the architecture. The nooses and the dead men all lined up neatly are unsettling enough, but what is it with Silent Hill and having these bottomless pits? Similar to, again, Nowhere from Silent Hill 1, you just have these empty black voids below you. I remember playing Silent Hill 2 when I was younger and being terrified of getting this puzzle wrong. I always thought the floor might fall out from under me and I'd get a game over. This, of course, isn't the case. You just get hit with lying figures in the hallway. Once James pulls the right noose, the innocent man will disappear, leaving the key of the persecuted. Notice how the rope fell just short of his neck. Using it on the handcuffs that lock the valve, James can finally turn it and open the gate, giving him a straight path to Maria's room.
Maria? Maria?
Maria, no! What happened to you? Why?
I have always loved how beautifully haunting this whole cutscene is. James hit with the realisation that she's died yet again. The way her bloodied and disfigured body is laid out, and that hauntingly angelic score. Yet again, James failed to save Maria. But I do have to question what she was even doing here in the first place. We saw her skewered by Pyramid Head as she ran for the elevator. There's no way she could have been down here. Was this simply a projection of James's subconscious, feeling guilty over her death in the first place? Or is this yet again more punishment from the town of Silent Hill? And oh my god, this shot right here of James looking over Maria's corpse and quietly whispering, "Mary."
Mary.
This is clearly a familiar and painful memory for James. There's even an IV stand at the end of the bed. Sitting at Maria's bedside and watching her lifeless body has brought back all those memories to the surface. Those 3 years of watching the love of his life waste away. Silent Hill 2 isn't ready to explain itself just yet. As a result, we have to do the only thing we can do. Leave Maria to her fate and move on. As we exit the labyrinth, even more impossible non-Euclidean geometry presents itself as we somehow end up in a graveyard. Within this final section of the labyrinth, we find ourselves face to face with 3 freshly dug graves. Eddie Dombrowski, Angela Orozco, and James Sunderland. James's grave is the only one deep enough to enter, and it acts as the last hole we have to jump into. And now, James can finally begin the road to clarity. That peace of mind can be found as we reach Toluca Lake and sail across to the Lakeview Hotel.
Eddie? What are you doing?
What does it look like? He always busted my balls. You fat, disgusting piece of shit. You make me sick. Fat ass, you're nothing but a waste of skin. You're so ugly, even your mama don't love you. Well, maybe he was right. Maybe I am nothing but a fat, disgusting piece of shit. But you know what? It doesn't matter if you're smart, dumb, ugly, pretty. It's all the same once you're dead. And the corpse can't laugh. From now on, if anyone makes fun of me, I'll kill him. Just like that.
Eddie, have you gone nuts? I knew it.
You too. You're just like him, James.
Hey, I didn't mean anything.
Don't bother. I understand. You've been laughing at me all along, haven't you? Ever since we first met. I'll kill you, James!
It's too late for Eddie. He's finally lost his mind, and now James will have to put him down as his last obstacle between him and his beloved wife. Eddie isn't an especially challenging boss, provided you have the necessary firepower and ammunition. What does sting, however, is Eddie's revolver, taking James down to red health in no time. So it basically just becomes one game of trading bullets to see who gives up first, and as you pump Eddie full of lead, he'll eventually retreat further into the meat locker. It's also worth noting the bodies on the ground around James. Like other bodies he's discovered during his odyssey, they're all dressed the same. They're all dressed like James.
Do you know what it does to you, James? When you're hated, picked on, spit on, just because of the way you look, after you've been laughed at your whole friggin' life. That's why I ran away after I killed the dog. Ran away like a scared little girl. Yeah, I killed that dog. It was fun. It tried to chew its own guts out. Finally died all curled up in a ball. Then he came after me. I shot him too, right in the leg. He cried more than the dog. He's gonna have a hard time playing football on what's left of that knee.
You think it's okay to kill people? You need help, Eddie.
Don't get all holy on me, James. This town called you too. You and me are the same. We're not like other people. Don't you know that? Let's party!
Now comes the second phase, and unlike that initial area, Eddie is far more aggressive with his melee attacks, rushing in and punching James as hard as he can, which does major damage. The basic rule of thumb is to use the hunks of meat for cover and take pot shots at Eddie when you can. Do this enough times and you'll eventually put the poor guy out of his misery.
Eddie? Eddie? I killed a human being. A human being. Mary. Did you really die 3 years ago?
Eddie Dombrowski came to Silent Hill in fear of what he'd done. Eddie had killed people previous to his journey to the town of Silent Hill. Several mentions have been made throughout the later encounters we've had with him. The reason he gives for lashing out the way he did was that the bullying got too much. During his mental breakdown, he rattles off all the nasty insults given to him. Eddie's case is one element of Silent Hill 2's story that stuck with me, because I've lived it. I'm not going to go too in depth because, by all accounts, I had a great childhood growing up, and I do have fond memories of time spent in school. But these are elements of Eddie's story that just hurt. I too went through some nasty periods of bullying in my life. In a lot of ways, I welcome it nowadays. It was an integral part of my growing up and being more socially adjusted. That said, I have wanted to cold-blooded murder some of the people that were just hateful to me growing up. Some of these people I've met later in life, and they've since grown and matured in that period of time. Naturally, I've grown and matured. It happens to us all. Others, however, are still just as hateful and unfulfilled as they ever were. There may have been things going on in their own lives that caused them to lash out at others the way they did. I understand that, but some of those people, I will never forgive them for how they treated me, and even worse, the little weasels that hid behind them and giggled as I was picked on. This is why Eddie's story strikes a chord with me. The only difference being I did my best to rise above the bullying and just get on with it, which worked out for me. Sometimes though, as is the case with Eddie, the bullying is too much and a more sadistic side takes over. It doesn't matter if you're smart, dumb, ugly, or pretty. In the eyes of someone like Eddie, it's all the same once you're dead. It's also worth noting the imagery around the meat locker, the way the meat carcasses resemble an overweight body. Even the small tarp covering it looks like a pair of shorts, not too dissimilar to what Eddie can be seen wearing. The biggest tragedy of all, however, is James's role in all this. Each character thus far has had their own Punisher, so to speak, and this is just my theory. James's Punisher is of course Pyramid Head, hunting him down throughout his journey and killing those he loves and cares for. Angela's boogeyman is her father after the years of physical and sexual abuse he forced on her. Eddie's enemy, his Punisher, his boogeyman, is James. James, unknowingly through his odyssey, has been pushing Eddie to his breaking point, through no real fault of his own. He's a bit naive and obviously poor with his choice of words. As a result, he embodied everything Eddie hated. How can you sit there and eat pizza? You can't just kill someone because of the way they looked at you. Eddie, have you gone nuts? Eddie finally reached his breaking point, and much like James or Angela, he tried to confront his demons, not realising that's exactly what Silent Hill tried to help him avoid. He had a chance to atone for his sins and learn to cope with the bullying he endured. But instead, he embraced his anger and his sadism, lashing out and trying to kill James. It cost him his life. 23 years of age, a whole life ahead of him, and due to his uncontrollable anger, it was taken away from him. James leaves the meat locker, ending up in the docks by Toluca Lake. All he need do now is hop aboard and sail for the hotel. The atmosphere and lighting within the Lakeview Hotel hits you like a brick wall. It's very reminiscent of the Overlook Hotel from The Shining, with all its 1920s lakeside and Art Deco designs. It's a very foreboding area, a fitting final area to James's story. You'll of course have taken notice of the time cycle as well through the boat section. We've gone from the dead of night to the crack of dawn. James has spent almost a day in the town of Silent Hill looking for Mary. That message on the map we picked up also seems a pretty good indication that we're making progress. Waiting for you. Let's hope that's the case. Although I make it no secret that the prison is my favourite location in Silent Hill 2 and the Labyrinth to an extent, the Lakeview Hotel, with all its placid beauty, is still a dark and frightening area with some really effective scares. Now, before we go rushing ahead, it's advisable to enter the dining area and pick up the fish key. With this, we can... Jesus Christ.
Did I scare you?
Yeah, you did.
You're here to find Mary, aren't you, James? Well, have you?
No. Is that why you're here too?
She's here, isn't she? If you know where she is, tell me. I'm tired of walking.
I wish I knew.
But she said it in her letter.
What letter?
Wanna read it? But don't tell Rachel, okay?
Who's Rachel?
She was our nurse. I took it from her locker.
My dearest Laura, I'm leaving this letter with Rachel to give to you after I'm gone. I'm far away now, in a quiet, beautiful place. Please forgive me for not saying goodbye before I left. Be well, Laura. Don't be too hard on the sisters. And Laura, about James. I know you hate him because you think he isn't nice to me, but please give him a chance. It's true he may be a little surly sometimes and doesn't laugh much, but underneath he's a really sweet person. Laura, I love you like my very own daughter. If things had worked out differently, I was hoping to adopt you. Happy 8th birthday, Laura. Your friend forever, Mary.
Laura, how old are you?
I turned 8 last week.
So, Mary couldn't have died 3 years ago. Could she really be here? Is this the quiet, beautiful place she was talking about?
Me and Mary talked a lot about Silent Hill. She even showed me all her pictures. She really wanted to come back. That's why I'm here. Maybe you'll get it if you see the other letter. The one, Mary. Huh? I must have dropped it.
Laura!
I gotta find it!
Laura!
She turned 8 last week, so Mary couldn't have died 3 years ago. It's still a little unbelievable, but that lends even more credence to the idea that she might be here. This is yet another cutscene that's one of my favourites, and I could sit here over-analysing it for days. Funny how it's another cutscene with Laura. And, of course, Yamaoka's music. This is hands down one of the best he's ever composed. It's such a moving piece that illustrates the gentleness of the interaction between James and Laura really well, and it fills us with hope that Mary is finally within reach. What's especially curious about this interaction with Laura, though, is how she says she got here. I'm tired of walking. No holes, no prison, and no labyrinth. It's almost as if Silent Hill has no effect on her. Let's remember that Silent Hill, at least the Silent Hill of the second game, projects the fears and deep psychological issues of the people who visit it. James, of course, has a lot of baggage, so Silent Hill builds its landscape around not just himself, but also Angela and the recently deceased Eddie. But Laura's just a child. What emotional baggage could she possibly have besides getting grounded and being forced to eat her vegetables? The town of Silent Hill didn't call her. Thus, she likely just found her own way. No monsters and no crazy obstacles to overcome. Of course, Laura doesn't stick around, running off to go find the other letter Mary left behind. We can also inspect the piano, which leaves us with a pretty funny, yet also really sweet memory from James. I remember how much Mary liked to play the piano. She wasn't very good. But I still love to hear her play. That was so long ago, before we were even married. Why am I thinking of that now? It's one of the rare moments where James actually has some positive exposition, not just reminiscing on how miserable he was while Mary was sick. The good memories don't last forever though. As James exits the dining room, we come face to face with more abstract daddies in the hotel hallway. This is, admittedly, one of the very few things I don't like about Silent Hill 2. The abstract daddies are just so out of place here. There are theories as to what these enemies could represent from James's perspective, but I still feel it's out of place. This was an enemy so personal to Angela. Now that being said, they are still a frightening enemy to encounter, and their horrible footsteps do put me on edge when I hear them approaching. Moving on, we can try and head up to room 312, but there's a gate blocking us, so naturally we have to find
James!
We'll have to find the key. I also have to draw attention to the silence present within the hotel. There are whole stretches of the Lakeview Hotel where you'll be running around dark, foreboding hallways with nothing but James's footsteps for company. Broken up only by the occasional door opening, item pickup, or... that too. During this exploration, you'll find yourself in the hotel storeroom and... Jesus Christ, what now? As it turns out, the elevator to the next area has a weight limit of 1 person. Next to James is a storage cupboard. That's right, you have to leave every single healing item, weapon, box of ammunition, even your photographs and letters in the cupboard, because God knows a flimsy little piece of paper is really going to affect that weight limit. Now, although this is a gimmicky part of Silent Hill 2, this section is quite atmospheric and unnerving. Of course, this mainly comes down to the fact that you're defenceless and have no healing items, but I'm talking more the atmosphere. The dark, intimidating hallways, clearly intended for staff use. It feels very unwelcoming. Atop that, James left his flashlight behind too, so it's too dark to read the map. This also then bleeds into trying to exit the bar. As James has no flashlight, he can't see the keyhole. This, of course, would be made easier if he would just blindly feel around the fucking door. But who am I to judge? Instead, James needs to use a can opener to find light bulbs in a can. After this, he'll find a conveniently placed lamp pointing towards the door. Inserting the light bulb and attempting to unlock the door again will allow him to leave. Of course. That would have been my first solution. The run back to the storeroom is then made doubly difficult as there are mannequins everywhere that try to block James's path. Once he's retrieved his items, he exits the storeroom and they've all disappeared. Ultimately, that whole section could have been absent from the final product and nothing of value would have been lost. But I did like the atmosphere and the tension of trying to avoid the mannequins. It maybe just needed some tweaking. Like giving me a fucking flashlight. Anyway, moving on. James, with the items he's gathered, can then proceed to go room to room, solving quaint little puzzles and eventually ending up with 3 music boxes. The music boxes depict 3 fairy tale princesses: Cinderella, the Little Mermaid, and Snow White. In the centre of the hotel is a larger music box that will play a tune when the correct smaller boxes are placed. All that need be done is line up the correct princess to the correct description, and once you fulfill that requirement, Mary isn't here. The room doesn't even look like it's been touched in years. I also love how sudden the transition was. No slow fade in, just a sudden jolt straight into room 312. Now, although Mary isn't here, what we do have is a VCR and a television in the middle of the room. While exploring, James came across the videotape he and Mary filmed during their trip. Maybe the tape will have the answers we need. Maybe it will tell us where Mary is.
Are you taping again? Come on. I don't know why, but I just love it here. It's so peaceful. You know what I heard? This whole area used to be a sacred place. I think I can see why. It's too bad we have to leave. Please promise you'll take me again, James.
Mary isn't here. She never was. It's hard to tell through all the static and interference, but what we just saw were Mary's last moments. As she lies in bed, suffering under the weight of her illness, James grabs a nearby pillow and smothers her. The same way the flesh lips tried to strangle James, and the same way the oppressor reached for the woman's neck. James blocked this from his memory as a coping mechanism, but over the course of his odyssey, Silent Hill has been subtly drawing the truth out of him by crafting a series of creatures and environments around this one dark secret: that James killed his wife. Laura then enters room 312, right as all these memories flood to the surface.
So there you are, James. Did you get the letter? Did you find Mary? If not, let's get going already, okay?
Laura. Mary's gone. She's dead.
Liar, that's a lie!
No, that's not true.
She died because she was sick?
No, I killed her.
You killer! Why'd you do it? I hate you! I want her back! Give her back to me! I knew it! You didn't care about her! I hate you, James! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! She was always waiting for you. Why? Why?
I'm sorry. The Mary you know isn't here. Laura, I'm sorry.
Where are you? I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you. Please come to me. Do you hate me? Is that why you won't come? James?
That voice!
James? Please hurry.
With a voice beckoning him to come find her, James leaves room 312 as the ugly truth gets worse and worse. The once lush and vibrant Lakeview Hotel is now showing its true colours, an element yet again alluded to over the course of the story with the Burning Man painting. The Lakeview Hotel suffered a devastating fire, and James has been trawling through the wreckage of the building the whole time. As he descends further and further, the hotel gets worse. Mould, cinders, ash. He's been so deluded in his pursuit of Mary that only now does he realise just how far he's fallen. And once again, Yamaoka knows just how to compose a symphony that illustrates how devastating a reveal like this is, not just for James, but for the player too. As he scrambles through the dark, flooded basement to escape his demons, he comes face to face with one last cruel encounter with Angela.
I was looking for you. Now you're the only one left. Maybe then I can rest. Mama, why are you running away? You're not my mama. It's you. Oh. I'm sorry.
Angela, no.
Thank you for saving me. But I wish you hadn't. Even Mama said it. I deserved what happened.
No, Angela, that's wrong.
No, don't pity me. I'm not worth it. Or maybe you think you can save me. Will you love me? Take care of me? Heal all my pain? That's what I thought. James, give me back that knife.
No, I won't.
Saving it for yourself?
Me? No, I'd never kill myself. It's hot as hell in here.
You see it too. For me, it's always like this.
Much like Eddie, Angela failed to cope with what happened to her. Angela's case is far more delicate, however. Being bullied and being raped and abused by her father are two very different extremes. I'm far less harsh on Angela given her circumstances. It's not an easy thing to cope with. But what's especially hard to justify is her attitude to James. It might be impossible for him to ever comprehend what she's been through, but he held his hand out regardless. Instead, Angela pushed him away, choosing to wallow in her pity rather than allow herself to be helped. She pulled the ladder up behind herself and spat as she walked away. As a result, she, much like Eddie, failed to acknowledge the lesson Silent Hill tried to teach her. That despite the horror she went through under that roof, there were those out there all too happy to try and help her. She chooses to walk into the flames, and after this encounter, she's never seen again. The hotel is even worse as we approach our final destination. Wallpaper decimated, damp and mould all over, yellow tape and clutter blocking rooms. James's whole worldview has been stripped away from him. And here we are, with the truth revealed and James coming to the slow realisation of just how mentally strained he is, we arrive at our final encounter with Pyramid Head.
I was weak. That's why I needed you. Needed someone to punish me for my sins. But that's all over now. I know the truth. Now it's time to end this.
Okay. What I'm about to say might be sacrilegious, but I don't really like the final fight against Pyramid Head, or Pyramid Heads in this case. The fight is meant to signify James overcoming his Punisher, the creature that's tormented him into admitting the truth of what he'd done. But much like the Blue Creek fight, it's just one big game of running from one end of the room to the other and taking pot shots. Only difference is, Pyramid Head has been given an artificially inflated level of health, so he basically needs an orbital strike worth of bullets to finish him off. You want to know how long this first attempt took? 10 minutes. 10 fucking minutes of blasting away at these two bastards, only to get cornered and get a game over. Do you know how rare it is to see the game over screen in Silent Hill 2? It is stupidly rare. It is such a rarity to die in this game, and yet, here, I'm getting my shit pushed in by these two animals. I wasted boxes and boxes of ammunition on these two clowns, with a grand total of roughly 12 minutes spent on my successful attempt. It's not a very good fight from a gameplay perspective, but from a story one, it's a very appropriate and poignant end to James's torment. He finally confronts the guilt he feels over what he did to Mary, and in a flurry of bullets, and I do mean flurry, he overcomes this guilt and is on the road to moving on. However, I left out arguably the most important part of this entire encounter. Maria appears yet again and is skewered by Pyramid Head. By now, I'm sure it needs no explanation. You're all smart enough to figure it out by yourself. The big revelation is, of course, that Maria never existed. She was a projection of James's fractured psyche, an ideal version of the woman he loved. Maria was sensual, confident, caring, and most importantly, healthy. Everything James wanted in his wife, Mary. And yet, time and time again, he's been forced to watch her die. A constant reminder from Silent Hill of what he did to his wife. Reminding him of the pain he caused her, as well as himself. At the beginning of the fight, James cries out, naturally fearing what the Pyramid Heads are going to do to her. And it's only as he collapses to his knees and accepts the truth that he's ready to believe Maria was never real and comes to terms with the reality of his situation. Examining both Pyramid Heads, they hold two different eggs, a scarlet egg and a rusty one. The rusty egg representing his killing of Mary, the scarlet one of his recent kill, that being Eddie. Depending on the ending you're going for, insert both eggs in the door and make your choice. Whatever door you choose to go through influences the ending you get. I also hate this door right here. You cannot tell me that doesn't look like a face. It's more than a little unsettling. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Because what follows is one of the saddest things I've ever had the displeasure of listening to.
Mary?
What do you want, James?
I brought you some flowers.
Flowers? I don't want any damn flowers. Just go home already.
Mary, what are you saying?
Look, I'm disgusting. I don't deserve flowers. Between the disease and the drugs, I look like a monster. Well, what are you looking at? Get the hell out of here! Leave me alone already. I'm no use to anyone. I'll be dead soon anyway. Maybe today. Maybe tomorrow. It'd be easier if they'd just kill me. But I guess the hospital is making a nice profit off me. They want to keep me alive. Are you still here? I told you to go. Are you deaf? Don't come back. James. Wait. Please don't go. Stay with me. Don't leave me alone. I didn't mean what I said. Please, James. Tell me I'll be okay. Tell me I'm not going to die. Help me.
Even now, that conversation still upsets me, and it's clear evidence that after everything he's been through and accepting what he did, it still hurts to remember how strained the later years with his wife were. Ascending the stairs, James readies himself for a final encounter. The stairs collapse, trapping him, and he walks forward to see Mary. Maybe it's finally time to seek some closure.
Mary?
When will you ever stop making that mistake? Mary's dead. You killed her.
Maria? It's you. But I don't need you anymore.
What? You must be joking. But I can be yours. I'll be here for you forever. And I'll never yell at you or make you feel bad. That's what you wanted. I'm different than Mary. How can you throw me away?
I understand now. It's time to end this nightmare.
No! I won't let you. You deserve to die too, James!
With the rose-tinted glasses ripped from James, it's his turn to put Maria down and finally accept that his wife and dream girl are gone. This is where my complaints about the Pyramid Head boss fight really shine. You've already wasted so much ammo confronting the two Pyramid Heads that you might only have a few rounds left by the time you reach Maria. As a result of this whole low ammo situation, the final fight almost loses steam because of it. Not to mention, it is yet another run from one side of the room to the other, making it a little repetitive. That said, you know why we're here. It's all about the story and the atmosphere, and this is such a beautifully deceptive way to end the game and fool the player. It seems like James has finally found what he's looking for, but yet again the rug is pulled out from under him. The difference being he's ready to accept Mary is gone and Maria isn't real. He's grown by the end of the game. But Silent Hill isn't ready to let him go just yet. Now he needs to prove he's truly ready to move on, and to do that, Maria needs to die. Permanently. Her design, as you can see, is very reminiscent of the Flesh Lips, but it's a version of the Flesh Lips given more clarity. Now that James knows the truth, he sees the Flesh Lips for what it is. A monstrous version of his wife seeking to punish him for what he did. But now that James has accepted what's happened, she can punish him no longer. All's needed now is to pump this horrible creature full of lead and bring an end to the story. I fucking knew I'd get to use this knife. Ah! It's done. James has destroyed the memory of Maria and is finally ready to move on. And with that, Silent Hill gives him a gift. A chance to speak with his wife one last time. Get the tissues out. Here we go.
Mary?
James.
Forgive me.
I told you that I wanted to die, James. I wanted the pain to end.
That's why I did it, honey. I just couldn't watch you suffer. No. That's not true. You also said you didn't want to die. The truth is, I hated you. I wanted you out of the way. I wanted my life back.
James, if that were true, then why do you look so sad?
Mary?
James. Please. Please do something for me. Go on with your life.
Oh, wow. And if that wasn't enough, we hear Mary read out the very letter we heard at the start of the game. The whole letter. Not just the part James wanted to read. And even all these years later, I still fight back the tears hearing it read aloud.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you. Waiting for you to come to see me. But you never do. And so I wait, wrapped in my cocoon of pain and loneliness. I know I've done a terrible thing to you. Something you'll never forgive me for. I wish I could change that. But I can't. I feel so pathetic and ugly laying here, waiting for you. Every day I stare up at the cracks in the ceiling, and all I can think about is how unfair it all is. The doctor came today. He told me I could go home for a short stay. It's not that I'm getting better. It's just that this may be my last chance. I think you know what I mean. Even so, I'm glad to be coming home. I've missed you terribly. But I'm afraid, James. I'm afraid you don't really want me to come home. Whenever you come see me, I can tell how hard it is on you. I don't know if you hate me or pity me, or maybe I just disgust you. I'm sorry about that. When I first learned that I was going to die, I just didn't want to accept it. I was so angry all the time, and I struck out at everyone I loved most. Especially you, James. That's why I understand if you do hate me. But I want you to know this, James. I'll always love you. Even though our life together had to end like this, I still wouldn't trade it for the world. We had some wonderful years together. Well, this letter has gone on too long, so I'll say goodbye. I told the nurse to give this to you after I'm gone. That means that as you read this, I'm already dead. I can't tell you to remember me, but I can't bear for you to forget me. These last few years since I became ill, I am so sorry for what I did to you, did to us. You've given me so much, and I haven't been able to return a single thing. That's why I want you to live for yourself now. Do what's best for you, James. James, you made me happy.
And so ends the story of Silent Hill 2. The story of a jaded and depressed man killing his sick wife and journeying to find clarity in amongst the fog of it all. Silent Hill 2 is my favourite game ever made. It might not be the most intricate from a gameplay perspective, but I'm a storyteller at heart, not a programmer, and Silent Hill 2 has one of the best narratives ever crafted. I love the game so much that I go out of my way to space out my playthroughs over a few years, because I love to have it fresh in my mind, or at least as fresh as it possibly can be, considering I played it a lot growing up. Before I go deeper into all the sappy, sentimental stuff, I do quickly want to run through the endings, as in my opinion, Silent Hill 2 is actually the most varied in terms of its endings. Taking the original Silent Hill as the example, the game also had multiple endings, but they really were just variations on the same outcome for the most part. Does Sybil survive? Did you kill the incubator or incubus, etc.? Silent Hill 2, on the other hand, has very different criteria depending on the certain ending you're going for. I'll go from bottom to top, exploring the endings based off my least favourite to my absolute favourite. At the very bottom of the list, and I know there's a few people that'll be disappointed to hear this, but it is the in-water ending. Essentially, through a combination of examining Angela's knife, often staying at low health through the game, and little side quests like reading the hospital diary and listening to the hallway conversation, it will lead James to a far more tragic end.
Now I understand the real reason I came to this town. I wonder, what was I afraid of? Without you, Mary, I've got nothing. Now we can be together.
In this ending, James can't cope with the loss of his wife and ultimately, in a selfish act, drives his car into Toluca Lake, killing himself. The reason I don't like this ending really does just come down to the kind of person I am. Even as a kid, I didn't really like this ending. It basically sinks, no pun intended, all the progress James made up to this point, and even worse, it spits on Mary's dying wish of James going on with his life. What really stings with this ending though is the fact that even James's voice actor, Guy Seehey, and Masahiro Ito, the art director, prefer this ending. It is their choice, of course, but I just think it ruins James's growth by the end of the story. Following that, we have the joke endings. Not to imply they're bad, I just prefer more serious conclusions to the story. As the name implies, these are both endings that act as parodies more than anything. The dog ending sees James confront a mischievous Shiba Inu dog named Mira. This dog has in fact been the mastermind of everything James went through.
Omae no shiwaza datta no ka?
This is then followed up by a goofy credit sequence in which we see a buff James, the dog growling at Eddie's stomach, and... God damn. The UFO ending requires an item to pull it off. The blue gem or channeling stone as it was known in the original. Using the gem in several different locations, James will see fleeting glimpses of what look to be a bunch of X-Files rejects before they float off. When using the gem at the final location, that being apartment 312, James is confronted by none other than the original Silent Hill's Harry Mason. Distracting James long enough for him to be zapped and taken aboard the ship, what follows is likely years of anal probing. These endings are very funny, and I remember the excitement I felt as a kid when discovering the dog key and pulling off my first joke ending. Next on my list is the Rebirth ending, a very mysterious and cultish conclusion to this dark tale. In this ending, James collects a series of ritualistic items over the course of his journey in Silent Hill. These items being the White Chrism, Book of Lost Memories, an Obsidian Goblet, and the Crimson Ceremony. With all these items in tow, James sails for a church on an island in the middle of Toluca Lake. His goal is to use black magic to resurrect Mary.
Mary, you look so peaceful. Forgive me for waking you. But without you, I just can't go on. I can't live without you, Mary. This town, Silent Hill. The old gods haven't left this place. And they still grant power to those who venerate them. Power to defy even death. Mary.
Silent Hill is known to have been built on historic Native American land. As a result, it is theorised that this is where Silent Hill gets its ghostly powers, and now James seeks to use them for his own benefit. Following this, we have what might be a surprising choice among fans, but the Maria ending is actually my second favourite in the game. People would argue it falls into the same rut as the In Water ending, an anticlimax in which James has learned nothing by the story's end. That said, I'd argue he has learned and understands the truth. He just chooses to continue living in his delusion. The basic gist of this ending is that through convincing the game Maria is your priority, she lives by the game's end. You can achieve this by walking as opposed to running with Maria, trying not to bump into her, protecting her from monsters, not abandoning her except when you need to, not examining Mary's photo or letter, ignoring the hallway conversation. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. I wouldn't really blame someone for not liking the ending as a result of how frustrating it is to get, but the ending itself is just so haunting. In essence, James confronts Mary, not Maria, as the final boss of the game, all but confirming he truly killed his wife for selfish reasons, with no hint of remorse. Lying to himself over the course of the game, he never really cared for Mary, just wanted some clarity before choosing to wipe the memory of his wife from his mind. After killing the manifestation of Mary's memory, James looks over Toluca Lake and is joined by Maria. Maria, of course, is just a figment of James's imagination, yet he continues to live in his delusion.
You killed Mary again?
That wasn't Mary. Mary's gone. That was just something Maria? Maria?
What, James?
I want you. I want you with me.
Are you sure?
Come on. Let's get out of here.
What about Mary?
It's okay. I have you.
He takes Maria home with him, and as they get ready to hop in the car and leave, it looks as though Maria is doomed to repeat the same cycle of suffering Mary went through.
You'd better do something about that cough.
That is such a haunting line and perfect delivery from Guy Seehey, sounding more like a threat than any kind of concern. James has his perfect wife, and he warns her to stay that way. Silent Hill tried to teach him a lesson, and he chose to ignore it. Finally, process of elimination. My favourite ending is, of course, the leave ending, the game's happy ending. There is no doubt in my mind that James is a changed man by the time his odyssey reaches its end. No person could come out of an ordeal like that and be able to cope easily with what they've done and find peace. But in that final shot, we see that glimmer of hope. James has decided to honour Mary's memory. He carries on with his life, but not only that, he adopts Laura, fulfilling Mary's dying wish. There is the issue of just how Laura could ever forgive or even understand why James took her beloved Mary away from her. But there's some hope that she might come to understand why James did what he did in time. I like to imagine they both moved on from their experience in Silent Hill, both choosing to live up to the life Mary had planned for them and bonding as a result. It is the only ending with a sweet sense of finality. All the others are just depressing and unresolved, in a good way, or just downright goofy, in a good way again. This has always been the canonical ending in my eyes. James deserves to find peace after the years of sleepless nights and frustration caring for his sick wife. Even if how he brought her suffering to an end was morally dubious, I still want to see James happy, and that really speaks to the quality of this game's storytelling. Following on from this, I want to give some closing thoughts before closing up shop. This video has gone on long enough, but I would ask you to bear with me because I really need to just pour my heart and soul into these last 5-10 minutes. Hello. If it looks like I've just woken up, that's because I basically have. And I spent all this time trying to get OBS and Nvidia to work, because I had to do this webcam desktop thing, and that was the only way that seemed feasible. Anyway, you made it to the end of the video. Well done. Well done. I'm surprised you made it to the end. I barely made it. But yeah, here we go, closing thoughts, and I mean, where do I start? Like, Silent Hill 2 has just been such an important game in my growing up. And I don't mean to exaggerate when I say this, but I would not be the same person I am today without a game like Silent Hill 2. And let me put it to you this way. This is the copy of Silent Hill 2 I got all those years ago. I bought it in CEX for 12 quid. And my idiot cousin, when I let him borrow my PlayStation 2 when he was younger, fucked up the disc. So yeah, that was a bit disheartening. This is also, I have to say, while I have it here, this is just such a cool little, fold out. I mean, look at that, like. It's amazing. It even comes with the making of DVD right there. Like, these old PlayStation 2 covers, containers, whatever you want to call them, they always had so much character. So obviously, that other one got scratched. So what did I do? I bought another one. I mean, if that doesn't go to show you just how big of an impact this game had on my life. You know what? I know something else that will. Also, I hope it's not too distracting, but I've got a spot, and it's annoying me. Let's see here now. And I already have it open. Like, there are so many YouTubers out there, and I'm going to give them all a shout out now, that had such a big impact on me, that really encouraged my love for Silent Hill 2. So, just straight off the bat right here, Solidus Scully. My goat. He has some fantastic reviews of all the Silent Hill games, and I do, well, maybe not all the Silent Hill games. There are some obscure ones out there that he hasn't played. But for the most part, like, he does reviews, he does commentaries. It is well worth looking into. He's an amazing YouTuber. This right here is where it all started for little 10, 11-year-old me. Watching playthroughs of Silent Hill 2 by people like Boffy Rocks. I mean, oh my god, even the sound of the camera and the quality of the video, this takes me back to being a kid again. And what was great about Boffy Rocks is Boffy Rocks was my first real experience with Silent Hill 2. This is where it all started for me. But on top of that, he was just really good at Let's Playing. He was a really funny guy.
I love that. You, like, start the game with a urinal in your face. It's ridiculous. And the urinal looks like it hasn't been cleaned in years. Then again, the bathroom looks like shit, too. Did James shit in the urinal?
You get what I mean. This was my first introduction to Silent Hill 2, and I couldn't have asked for a better introduction. It was so funny, it was so entertaining, and it basically went through the game top to bottom. Next on my list, Rom Mithril. Oh my god! Jesus Christ. See, we are really going into the archives with this one, because these are all the people I used to watch way, way back when. Rom Mithril is another huge inspiration for me. I mean, there isn't enough time in the day for me to praise these YouTubers, because it was people like this that inspired me to do what I'm doing now. Let's Plays and analysis type videos. This is where it all started for me. It's like the very first Silent Hill 2 video he did. Oh, the MS Paint. Oh, Jesus Christ. How old is this video? 2000. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. I'm getting old and there's nothing I can do about it.
Hello, Ron.
It's surreal for me to be sitting here making a video about Silent Hill 2 and watching the person, or the people, I should say, that inspired me to make these kind of videos. This is where it all started for me. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be here right now making a video like this. It's crazy. Also, there are maybe 5 people in the audience who might actually know who this is, but this was another channel that inspired me, another kind of monster and ending analysis type channel that used to cover all this type of stuff. Hang on, let me just click into a random one here. Yeah, the Monsters of Silent Hill 2. Oh, it's loud! Jesus Christ, it's loud!
In the same room as Angela. And being the hero that you are, need to save her from it instead of leaving that crazy woman to her fate.
Fucking hell. Is it Calliope or Calliope? I'm not too sure. But this is another channel that I can call back to as being one of my major inspirations. 2009! Oh my god! Jesus Christ, I'm not joking. I feel really old looking at this now, because I can remember being a kid, being like, 10, 11 years old, and sitting down and watching these videos ad nauseum. Or is it ad nauseum? Is it? Hang on a minute. Yeah, ad nauseum. I used to watch these videos ad nauseum. They had such a huge impact on me. I mean, and at that, there are probably so many YouTubers that I just can't even think of right now. Like, Jordan Underneath. Goat. Absolute goat. Max Derritt. Some of the best Silent Hill 2 video essays you will ever see. They're unbelievable. Like, these are the people that have inspired me to create the video that you're watching right now. It's so surreal looking back at this. I'm going to have to pull up my script here because I know I've gone off topic. Yeah, anyway, getting back to it. So, my first experience with Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3 was the Silent Hill HD collection for the PlayStation 3. The less said about that, the better. But then, I was lucky enough to pick up my original copy for the PlayStation 2, and this... I would frame this. I'm not joking. I would put this in a glass case, I would frame it, because this has been such an integral part of my growing up, of my life. So, there's two big things that I haven't really covered, one of which I mentioned briefly, the other I didn't talk about at all. The first being the Silent Hill 2 remake. I played the remake, and I have some very strong opinions about it. Whether they're good or bad, you'll just have to wait until I get around to making a video on it. But the second is Maria's side scenario, Born from a Wish. Again, I might do like, a 10-15 minute video at some point down the line. At the moment, I'm not really sure what direction I'm going after this video, but doesn't matter. I mean, outside of that, I really don't think there's anything else I can add to the discussion, to the conversation. It's just, this has had such a huge impact on me growing up, and I'm just thrilled that I finally have the opportunity to make a video about it. Let's wrap everything up. Let's get to the conclusion. Silent Hill 2 is my favourite game ever made. I'm sure its impact on me has been made clear at this point. It is one of the most frightening, tragic and downright moving games I have ever played. John Carmack of Doom fame once famously said, "Story in a game is like story in a porn movie. It's expected to be there, but it's not that important." That is absolute bollocks, and Silent Hill 2 proves it. Interesting stories is what we crave as human beings. From the tale of Homer's Odyssey in ancient Greece to the stories that permeate our televisions and cinema screens, we crave narratives that whisk us away to foreign lands and introduce us to new characters of all backgrounds. Sometimes we crave fiction and fantasy. Silent Hill 2 certainly has that, but it is grounded in a far more sombre and realistic world. One lined with themes of grief and loss, one that champions the will of the human spirit to persevere and move on from tragedy. It's really beautiful stuff. That is the power a game like Silent Hill 2 has, and it's the reason why all these years later, I still revere it as a piece of art like no other. That being said, time moves on. Silent Hill 2, the original, is a game that is rapidly being lost to the sands of time. New horror games are hitting the scene, some of whom are directly inspired by Silent Hill 2, and in a way, they carry on the torch. I'm sad to think a day and age will come where Silent Hill 2 will fade into obscurity, more than it already has, but I still hold some hope in my heart. A young man will comb through some of his parents' or even grandparents' old stuff, and inside will be a collection of dusty old PlayStation 2 games. He pulls one out, looks up at whoever's stuff he's rummaging through and asks, "Hey, what's this?" That there is one of the best games ever made. Pluck out that PS2 there. Let's hook it up and go on an adventure. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a really special video that I've had on my mind for some time. I know I often ramble at length, and this Silent Hill 2 video will be that crowning achievement, but you made it. You were kind enough to give me the time of day and listen to me ramble about a game that has changed my life in so many ways. While I'm here, I suppose a little life update is in order. I have, since my last upload, completed my 20,000 word thesis for my master's degree. It's a huge achievement and I'm very proud of what I've accomplished. That graduation won't be for a few weeks, but that's not important. What is important is this year I've decided to take a year out of college, and in this space of time I want to endeavour to produce more content. I have so many ideas for a multitude of video essays, and I don't even know where to start, but what I do know is I have an extremely kind and encouraging fan base backing me. You're the people who make this possible, and I've never really wanted anything in return other than your enjoyment. That said, my work situation at the moment, given I haven't fully qualified for my career choice, means I'm still working part-time. So, while I hate the idea of e-begging and basically asking strangers for money, I have been giving serious consideration to a Patreon. My big fear with starting a Patreon is that I wouldn't be able to produce content regularly enough for you, and I'd hate to disappoint you. Now that said, it is probably as good a time as any to ask for the kindness of strangers. Next year I'll be returning to college and to find a job. Rest assured that what little I ask for you, if I do decide to set up this Patreon, if you think it's a good idea, it will all go towards my education, and I hope you'll consider helping me out. I'm going to wrap everything up now. I've rambled and e-begged long enough, but again, and I cannot stress this enough, thank you so much for all your support. Even a view means the world to me. All that said, I have plans to cover the Maria scenario at some point down the line, and more importantly, the Silent Hill 2 remake. For the moment, who knows what I'll do with this channel. To close us off, I do want to drop one final bombshell before I wrap everything up. The Silent Hill 2 remake is an 8 out of 10. I know.
Oh, bro!
Shut up! Just shut the fuck